A curse is a good thing or a bad thing? So you say bad, you say bad, you say bad. So you both, all three of you are correct. Now, read that again. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. So, you've identified that curses are not a good thing. Alright, read this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15.
Bring it out!
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Moses is speaking to the children of Israel. He's saying, if you don't hearken, do you know what the word hearken means? Hearken. It's an old English word. It means to listen. Hearken, like H-E-A-R-K-E-N. Hearken. To listen. Read it again.
But it shall come, verse 15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken.
Spell that word hearken.
H-E-A-R.
Those first four words. Here. Get the sense? We're giving you the sense. So it's an old English word, so we'll just elaborate it so you understand what it means. Read it again.
Verse 15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken.
So if you won't listen
unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So we have to listen to the voice of God. Read.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
So we have to hear it, and then we have to observe it, and then we have to do it. You understand? So it's no point just hearing it. Like if your parents, you live with your parents, yes? So your parents tell you what your name? Sean. Your mom or your dad says, Sean, go and get me a glass of water. You hear it, but you don't do it. Are you being obedient to what your parents are asking you? No. Yeah, exactly. Discipline. Read it again.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So all three of you agree that curses are not a good thing, it's a bad thing. So what do you think would happen in your household if your parents tell you to do something, Sean, and you don't do it? What do you think is going to happen? Be honest. What's going to happen?
My parents will probably get mad.
Your parents will get mad?
Yeah.
Your parents will get mad, what else?
Then they take my phone or something.
They take your phone, so they discipline you. Yeah. So they're not going to do something good if you're not doing what they tell you. They're going to give you time out or punishment or go and reflect. It's the same thing with the Heavenly Father. Now, he said curses will happen to the children of Israel if they don't hearken, if they don't listen. But listening is one thing you have to do. You understand? Now, so from verse 15 is a stipulation of the curses that would happen to the children of Israel. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, did you say you're from Zimbabwe? Alright, so are you, who are these? These are your friends, your brother? Who you all know each other? Where's your dad from? Gambia. Where's your dad from? Oh, you two are brothers. Alright, so your dad's from Gambia, your dad's from Zimbabwe. So, on this map, the whole continent of Africa, yeah? You know, predominantly from the west coast of Africa, we was taken in slavery. That's why the flyer that you've got there, it says at the top, the truth about slavery. Now, remember what God said to Moses, if you don't hearken, if you don't listen, all these curses would happen to you. Now, how do you think the children of Israel would end up all over the world? Because Moses is saying, if you don't listen, this is what's going to happen. Give me verse 68. And this is a curse.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So do you know the story of the children of Israel when they was in Egypt the first time? Does anybody know? Have you heard of the Red Sea opening up and Moses? That's the time frame we're talking about. Because the children of Israel were serving hard bondage or captivity or slavery under Pharaoh. You may have heard the famous line where God told Moses, go and tell Pharaoh, let my... Do you know the line? Do you know the famous line? Let my people go. Have you heard that? You not heard that? Alright, so Moses was sent by God to go and tell Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, let my people go. Because what was the children of Israel doing in Egypt? They was committing, they was under hard bondage or slavery.
Shalom Israel, this is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today.
Read that again, verse 68.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Stop. God said, if you don't keep my commandments, children of Israel, I'm going to send you back into Egypt again. When he says again, what is he saying? Because remember, when Moses delivered the children of Israel, they walked out on foot. The Egyptians tried to get them back, said, hey, all our free labor, all our slaves are no longer going to be giving us free labor. Let's chase after them. So they tried to chase after them, and what happened? God opened up the Red Sea when Moses had the staff. The children of Israel went safely through. And my friend over there, Jan, what's his name? What's his name? Ahmed.
Yeah.
So, Ahmed, do you know the history of the children of Israel when they passed through the Red Sea? You know the history?
Yeah.
What's the history? What happened to the children of Israel as they go through the Red Sea?
The pillar of fire and cloud was before them, and they get through the Red Sea, and then the Egyptians tried to chase after them, but the sea closes in and destroys them.
Excellent. So the children of Israel went safely through the Red Sea. This is the history that we all need to know, and it's in the Bible. So the children of Israel went safely through the Red Sea, and then the Egyptians went after them to try and pull them back into Egypt, because that was their free labor, their slaves. They wanted their slaves back, but God closed the Red Sea and destroyed the Egyptians. But the mode of transport for them leaving Egypt was they walked out on foot. They didn't catch a jumbo jet, they didn't get a cruise ship, they didn't get a taxi, they walked out on foot. So read this again. I want you to understand what God is saying to the children of Israel. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Now, he's going to send the children of Israel back into Egypt if they don't listen to his commandments. But the mode of transport by way of how he's going to do it is by what?
With ships.
By ships. So ships is the mode of transportation. I'm going to send the children of Israel back into Egypt. Now, is he talking about literal Egypt? Because remember, what was the children of Israel doing in Egypt? That before the Red Sea closed up, the Egyptians wanted them back. What were they doing? Free labor, slavery. They didn't have to pay for all the work that the Israelites were doing. Free labor. Sound familiar? Now, give me Exodus chapter 20 verse 2. Let's see what it means, Egypt.
The book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
What were they doing in Egypt?
Out of the land of Egypt. Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage, slavery, captivity. I am the Lord your God, talking to the Israelites, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt. He's telling you that's the house of bondage. So now we have the understanding. Go back to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68 once again.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Into bondage again. How?
With ships.
With ships. Now, which people on the planet, let's do an open science test. Which people on the planet went into slavery by way of ships?
Bring it out.
Did it happen to the Russians, the Pakistani man, the Irish, the French, the Dutch? Which people on the planet Earth went into slavery on ships? You're on. Who knows? Us! Yeah? Okay, so we was taken from the west coast, step back. We was taken from the west coast of Africa and brought by means of cargo slave ships to the Americas, Central, South, and the North, and then the Brazils, Cuba, all of the islands, the Caribbean islands. So Moses is speaking to a set of people, the Israelites. Now, give me verse, no, finish that, there's more. Finish verse 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
So the children of Israel, they will see their homeland no more. Now when they come off those cargo slave ships, let's see what God told the children of Israel would happen to them if you don't listen. Just like if you don't listen, your parents put you on timeout and give you punishment. The Heavenly Father is going to tell his children, the children of Israel, when you come off those slave ships, what's going to happen to you. Read.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
Unto what?
Unto your enemies. For bondmen and bondwomen.
So you Israelite men and women, you're going to be sold unto your enemies. Now, let's look at it again. The people that owned the slave ships, the people that navigated the slave ships, would you consider them to be the friends of the black folk that were on those ships, or enemies to the folk that were on those ships? What do you think? Friends or enemies? Enemies. God say, read it again.
Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So God is saying, these people who take you on ships, they're your enemies. Read.
For bondmen.
So when you come off those ships, you're going to be sold as bondmen
and bondwomen.
And you women, likewise, the enemies are going to sell you too. Read.
And no man shall buy you.
If we came off the slave ships and we served the slave master on the various plantations, picking cotton, tobacco, so on and so forth, the cane sugar, nobody came to get us. No man shall buy you. Now, which people again on the planet Earth went into slavery on slave ships? Our people. Moses is speaking to the children of Israel, but somehow there's a disconnect. We don't associate us black people being the Israelites. Do you know why? Because they call us what? They don't call us the names that God called us, which is Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Because the same people, your enemies, they're going to reclassify you. They're going to call you, when you come off, you're now American blacks. When you take it to the West, you're not Benjamin. You're now Jamaican, Trinidadian. They're going to call you collectively the West Indians. You understand? That's not what God called us. There's a disconnect.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation.